Marco. I have a couple of questions to ask you guys before I do start. How many, if you can please raise your hand if you guys have a car? How many of you have insurance with you? Keep your hands up, guys. How many of you guys have insurance with your car? Keep your hands up if you do. How many of you know exactly for a fact how your insurance works? If you guys do, keep your hands up. And if you don't, it's fine. So only 2 people out of the class actually know how your insurance actually works. So my speech today is an informative speech on insurance. More precise, auto insurance. I've been working for State Farm for the last couple of years, for about 2.5 now. My whole entire point is to try and get you to get a better understanding on your insurance, whether it be with State Farm or another competitor. So I want to explain to you what auto insurance does and learning why you need it. It is very important to why you need it, why everybody needs it. It's not just because the government wants you to have it, that's not the only reason why you should have it. It also means that you're perfectly protected. It means that you know that if you were to be in an accident, you're not going to lose everything. So I want to go over my first point. How does insurance actually work? A lot of people only know 2 terms when it comes to insurance. And even people who are 40, 50, 30, they only know 2 terms. They only know liability and full coverage. And all they know is that if they buy a brand new car, they need full coverage. Or they have an older car that they don't have to give payments on, they just need liability. So first of all, limits of liability are the basics of insurance. Here in the state of Texas, Texas has the highest limits of liability, the lowest limits of liability, better to say. We operate on what is called 30-60-25, which is 30,000, 60,000, 25,000. The 30 means that you'll be covered. 30,000. The 30 means that we'll cover up to $30,000 per person. The 60 means that 60,000 will be covered per occurrence, and the 25,000 will be covered per bodily damage. So in the U.S., we have the highest, again, limits of liability. The reason for that being is we have a lot more people driving on the road than any other state in the nation. New York, for example, has the lowest limits of liability. They have 10,000, 15,000, and 5,000. Reason for that being is they literally don't drive as much as we do. They're less likely to be in a car accident than we are. So if you were to ever be in a car accident, State Farm does what is known as subrogation, which means that if I were to hit Mr. Mo McDonald and I didn't have insurance, State Farm would try and get the money out from me one way or another if I didn't have insurance. So insurance is a requirement to protect Mr. McDonald and myself from losing everything I have and making sure that Mr. McDonald becomes whole again. Different coverages of insurance. Like I said, most people only realize limits of liability and full coverage. There's a lot more to it than most people actually think. Full coverage requires only limits of liability, which are 30, 60, 25, collision and comprehensive deductibles. Collision deductibles will cover you if you were to accidentally hit a pole, go through your house, and trust me, that I get that phone call at least once a month that somebody hit their garage door. I've had one person forget to turn off the car while they were talking on the phone, and they've gone through their own home. So their collision deductible paid for everything. Comprehensive covers acts of God. A huge thing about deductibles is the lower the deductible, the higher your premium is, and the higher your deductible, the lower your premium is. What that means is, if you were to be in an accident and you want your car to be fixed completely, and the total damage is $2,000, you can pay your deductible if you had it at $500, and State Farm will pay the additional $1,500. Now, if your deductible is $2,000 and the damage to your car is $1,500, people don't pay their deductibles, they'll just pay it out of pocket because it's cheaper. Besides comprehensive and collision, full coverage also includes uninsured and underinsured motors, which means that it covers you if the other individual does not have insurance. For instance, here in the Valley, as reported by the DMV, most accidents that occur on the weekend are with people from Mexico. As you know, I understand that sounds a little mean, but they don't necessarily have to have insurance to be here in the States. If you were to be hit by somebody with Mexico license plates that doesn't have insurance and you don't have uninsured, underinsured motorists, your vehicle would not be covered. You would be at a total loss. So the DMV does report here in South Texas, really recommends you have uninsured, underinsured motors so you can be completely protected. We also have personal injury protection, which works somewhat like health insurance. If you were to be in an accident, they would pay for your wages and your medical expenses. Normally on an insurance policy, it's optional here in the state of Texas, and it's only $3 extra. I always recommend people to get personal injury protection. It's super cheap, covers you for medical expenses and wages. We also have emergency roadside assistance is another huge topic that a lot of people aren't fully aware of. It covers you not just towing and labor, it also provides free pop-a-lock. It also provides assistance with your car. If your car breaks down in the middle of nowhere, you can actually call your emergency roadside assistance, whether you have State Farm, Fred Loya, Geico, anybody, and they'll send somebody out there to help you get the vehicle looked at, or if you need gas, they'll be able to fix that for you. They'll be able to take you gas, they'll be able to take you a spare tire. If you have a nail in your tire, they'll actually be able to take you a brand new tire. This is actually a temporary ID card. I wanted to bring one. I just had to take off all the drivers and the insured. This is my personal. I couldn't bring one that had more information on it. And I just wanted to go over a couple of things. This is the basic State Farm one. Every insurance company has a different setup. This is our standard. And I just wanted to point out, whenever you get pulled over, the first thing that an officer looks at are these coverages to make sure that you have the correct coverages and the effective dates. Reason for that being is if you have an expired liability card, they can actually give you a ticket, and tickets right now for having no insurance or having an expired ID card range anywhere from $50 to $300. And you don't know how many calls I get for people to be like, can I get insurance while they're getting pulled over? It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. Coverage A means you have liability, which again is 30, 60, 25. Coverage D is collision. Coverage G is comprehensive. Coverage H is emergency roadside assistance. Coverage R is car rental service, and coverage U is uninsured, underinsured motorists. And then over here, normally it would have all my information, my name, my address, and all that good stuff. The vehicle that I drive, this example has a 2014 Nissan Titan. Oh shoot. Oh. Sorry, I don't know what I clicked. It does have a VIN number, and on here it tells you who's allowed to drive your vehicles. So say for instance, if Tiffany were to borrow my car and her name was not here and she were to be in an accident with my car, she might not be covered under depending on the circumstance, but State Farm will cover her. Why insurance matters. Insurance is the idea that you will always be protected. You have insurance to protect what you care about. You always want to make sure that your valuables are taken care of and protected. As Mr. Crawford always says, my boss, insurance is to prepare for the unexpected, hoping for the best. You use insurance to keep yourself protected and others and to protect your assets. You don't want to lose everything you've worked for in a single car accident. And it's happened before. If you don't have the right limits or the right insurance, you can lose your whole entire, business. You can lose what you have. You can lose your car, everything overnight. Insurance is designed to make you whole again. So if you lose something, insurance is the idea that they're gonna make you whole once more. Conclusion: everyone should have insurance, and if you don't want to lose all your stuff and protect yourself, and to make sure that you protect yourself and others. Even having insurance seems like a drag and a waste of money, but it's for the better. It's the idea behind it is to protect yourself. Call me for an auto, life, or home insurance quote. State Farm. Product placement like Miranda.